Hello everybody, it's MicheleMarieDalene, North American Snow Queen. It is approximately, I'd say around April 5th of 2012, and Happy Merry Me to all of you. Today, I'm actually doing a friend a favor, because she brought something up on her webpage where she was unable to clearly explain her concerns, and that was an issue of intimacy. In her case, she was talking specifically about lesbian intimacy. She started out with a pretty good idea, but then she started to kind of get a little nervous and kind of was swerving all over the road a little bit. So I'm going to take some time to discuss this with you, only because I have nothing else to do in my day right now because my season is over, so I get some extra time to kill. Now, she specifically was talking, her name is Jenna, by the way, Jenna. She's really a pretty nice person on Lesbian Answer. She's a bit younger than me, by at least 20 years. So she's still fairly new at this topic. I'm at least 20 years her senior, so I have more experience in how to approach it and not get the censors of YouTube up in arms. First of all, I apologize we don't have the extra reflector and the light going right now. That's only because the light is being used for another purpose at this point. So we'll just go ahead and just muddle through it. And also, you will notice at the end of everything, we're going to mention, or we're going to be having, on my videos from now on, we're going to be having special thanks to, and it's promotional consideration was given to section, because I talked to my local hair salon, which does my hair, and I let them know that I would at least let them, put them on my video so that they really could use the, more business. And, of course, Fame the Cat is here. He's always here. And he's sneezing right now. He's getting hay fever for the year. We both are. And so, let's get started. First of all, I am not going to get into, like you said, I'm going to say the same thing. I'm not going to talk about the actual physical details of lesbian relationships. In the sense, I'm not going to go ahead and get into the graphic nitty-gritty about how it's done, why it's done, the way it's done, because everybody's different, first of all. My notes I'm going to give you can also apply to heterosexual relationships as well as relationships among gay men. So, and how am I qualified to answer this? Well, first of all, I'll tell you a secret. Number one, I am a hermaphrodite. Number two, I have a twin soul, which is Lemmy Finstra. Yeah. I'm here. And we are, of course, we used to joke around a lot when people used to say, using a more clean vernacular, go screw yourself, we would say, give us 5 minutes. Because, yes, we can literally do that. But that's, also gives me the edge of experience because we know it from both perspectives. So, without too much further ado, let's talk about the main thing. The most important thing about intimacy is that there's got to be chemistry between you and the other person. That means that there has to be a feeling of like you are, a good match and that you have good feelings. I like to describe this as baking the foundation, which is like baking a cake. Oh yes, everybody loves to eat the frosting, but if you don't have the cake, the frosting has no substance. It's just sugar and flavoring and that's it. It doesn't really do anything for you. But if you have the cake, i.e. the double sweet cake, if you will, underneath that chocolate frosting or vanilla frosting, whichever is your flavor, you got something with substance, and that's what makes a relationship work. There's lots of ways to provide the physical satisfaction outside of a relationship. You could hire an escort. You could get involved with a brothel. You can go to a prostitute if that's what you want. But that's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about something much more substance. That is long-term and deep commitment with each other. Now, one of the things that people sometimes do is because I think the mass media has really kind of mislaid this overall for all relationships between man, woman to woman, man and a woman, is they like to focus on the frosting. They don't really talk about the real reason behind what people do. The first thing is, when you meet somebody, if there is chemistry and there's a sense of a long-term, bond, that's the thing you got to do first. You got to build the bond. That's because people are very complex. There's no two people that are the same, and each person has their own different way of doing things. Now, in the case of me and Mummy, for example, we got two souls in the same physical flesh. Those two souls are completely different souls. So therefore, what Mummy likes, or an outside third person might like, say like my friend June, or Sally, or Susan, or Richard, or Joseph, whoever, is going to be very different. So then, and they also have their own different desires, interests. So when you focus on a relationship, it's gotta be, you gotta feel like you've got something there, and that it's got substance. That was what she was trying to say. As far as how this intimacy starts, well, it does start with a kiss. She mentioned that, but at the same time, that's where she kind of lost it, because then she started to realize that she wanted to get into more detail, but because of the censors, she couldn't really do that. And I'm not going to go there either. Just to say, the fact is, if the two of you, whatever your gender, whatever your biological sex is, it doesn't matter. You will know what to do next. And each person is different. So, as you are exploring the other person, and first thing I do is when I'm in a relationship, is I get to know the person really well first. Get to know who they are, what their interests are, what their likes are, what their dislikes are. And see if they feel the same about me. If it's clearly one way, it's useless, because you're not going to get anything, you're going to feel frustrated. It's like banging your head against a proverbial wall. You don't want to bang your head against a proverbial wall, or more like banging your head against a proverbial door, more likely. Because what's happening is you thought there was something there, and they're not interested. So you don't want that. You want the door to be open, where the energy flows from them to you, and you to them. It has to be that way. And relationships, regardless of who you are, what you are, when you are, where you are, it's got to be that way. It has to be balanced. So, I apologize that Jenna wasn't able to go into a lot of detail on that. I respect her approach, that maybe she felt a little bit uncomfortable. Me and Lomi have been at this for 40-something years. We certainly know how it works. But again, I don't want to get into this stuff where the censors might get a little bit upset with us. My videos have always been respected among the community, and I'm going to respectfully keep it simple. And say that if you are a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, or a man and a woman, the most important thing is that you have to have equal interest. And it's got to be it's got to be something that's deep and passionate and true. There's no reason why, as I said, if you're looking for a one-night stand, okay, just go ahead and call your local prostitute. You might as well. It'll be a lot cheaper, and at least you'll know that she knows, or he or she knows that, okay, it's a one-night stand. I do what I'm going to do. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Here's your money. Goodbye. That's what that's going to be. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Except one thing. If you do have somebody who really loves you, and it's not mutual, i.e., you're the one who's closed the door, and they're banging their head against your door, you should make sure, nicely, preferably, to tell them, I'm sorry, but I'm really not going to go any further. So that they can go ahead, and they may be upset, but that's okay. But it's best to tell them the truth outright, instead of playing games with their heart. Okay? Nobody likes being strung along. No, anybody. Me, Lumi, Sally, Susan, June, Mary, whoever. Richard, Joseph. Tell them the truth of how you feel. Because once the chemistry is there, it will grow, it will blossom. But if you don't have the chemistry, well, it's just wasted time for everybody. Okay, by the way, I wanted to also let you know that that there is a few other changes going on here. I have, first of all, I was able to figure out the problem with the winter season this year, and that has been fixed. It turned out that a friend of mine had put a curse on me, not realizing he had done such widespread damage. He apologized to me. He said to me, "I'm sorry." He said, "Michelle, with my back problems, I since now really are not friendly to me." And he said, "I'm also concerned about the homeless people too." I said, "Yes." I said, "Yes, I am also." However, I never said I was going to dump 1 million pounds of snow on the ground. I was part of the thing from my mind, because I realized there has to be balance. So I said to him that maybe we can work this out in a way that's positive for everybody for next year. So what we're going to do for next year, I just want to let you know, I've been talking to Mother Asna about this, is we are going to be focusing on returning some balance to the environment as well. So as we get closer and closer to winter, you'll start to see, we'll begin to I'll be working to prepare things slowly and methodically, so that when it's time for my season, I have it all planned, so that everybody comes home in a win-win scenario. First of all, this year was terrible for the ski resorts. It was just terrible for snow removal companies. They were not making money. And we're talking about here in the North American area. If you were in Europe, you guys were doing gangbusters. You guys are doing great. However, the problem is when you actually, I don't really do with Europe, because I know a friend who does, but she's still an intern, so she was kind of where I was last year when I was the intern. So for you to just relax, it all will work out for you. I know you felt very helpless this year because you didn't mean for things to get out of control. Just relax. Okay. Alec and who was in charge of the Russian Federation over there, I think it may have been Alexander, but I could be wrong. Alex, take it easy, okay? Because he just lets us do things on he's a Russian bear. He's from Moscow. He's a University of Moscow student. He's studying meteorology. He likes to make it tough. He's used to cold environment. But Alex, take a warm pill, okay? Warm up a bit, all right? Nobody wanted to freeze that much in Moscow. Unfortunately, that also affected, of course, weather in Upper Canada and Greenland, and of course in Alaska. So let's all work together and provide some balance to Mother Gaia. That's what Father Yahweh wanted. That's what Mother Asna wanted. Was for us to work in balance. The other things in the world today, there's just so much going on. I don't really want to go into a lot of it, because it's just too many things, and it kind of depresses me a bit. But let me give you something that Mother Asna had said at the time of my coronation. First of all, please relax, people, okay? Yes, there are changes coming. But I think that those changes, and this is based on my educated, informed opinion, for those people who are ready to enter 5D Earth, you can relax. You can relax. You can take your Thorazine, whatever. You don't have to worry. You're not going to die, because you will be able to adjust and move on, like I am. And for those of you who are still stuck in 3D Earth and panicking and freaking out about the most basic things, you still have time to open up your chakra flow of energies and to embrace the new changes. They're positive changes. Sure, there are bad stuff too, but I wouldn't really, it's just like relationships in a way. It's scary at first, because you have to expose yourself. And that's actually a perfect analogy, because it's the same as a relationship. You're dealing with a whole new flow, and you're going to be dealing with a whole new way of thinking. And people get very scared. Oh, I'm not ready to deal with this. Oh, this is scary. Am I going to be okay? And the truth of the matter is, yes, you will be if you are willing to say to yourself, first thing I got to do is throw away my preconceived notions and feel the flow, okay? And breathe deeply and let the positive energy in, and I will be fine. Okay, that's the way Mother has told me. She said, let people know that there are positive energies that are coming. That's what she was trying to tell you at the night of my coronation. I am very much amazed. In fact, I am extremely thankful for the amount of people who've been watching the situation on my hair care. I had never intended for 100 and something, 200 plus people to watch that video. And that totally surprised me. I mean, that's like, for me, that's like a really major surprise. And, but I hope that the rest of you are out there watching the rest of these videos, because I really know that some of the stuff we talk about on the internet and stuff is a little bit esoteric and a little bit bizarre, but it's not meant to be something that's supposed to cause discomfort. A lot of stuff I talk about is really, really unusual, but it has a reason. We're discussing those topics, such as I discussed the use of what if high sorcery really worked on Earth, and the use of a bladed weapon for 2012 survival. That was serious. It had, the beginning was kind of funny, but don't take that whole thing as funny. I can assure you that that video was actually serious all the way through after that short segment at the beginning of how sorcery worked. I did that because I realized the original was going to be 2 videos, and people would probably watch the first one and go, she's a Fruit Loop, and the second one they would go is, oh, she's a doom and gloomer. I don't really want people to think that, because it's clearly a personal choice of what kind of weapons you're going to use. If you're going to use gun, sword, mace, ballista, crossbow, trebuchet, whatever you need, you know how to use that weapon. I already mentioned that. But you also have to realize that they also have very messy devices, and they could be quite the first time you actually use it on someone and you see you cause so much mortal injury, it may be devastating to your psyche. So I don't really feel comfortable suggesting it, but because the way things are going in the world right now, I think you just have to accept this the way it is. Things are really messed up. And they're not getting any better, kiddo. I hate to say that, but it's true. Even though Mother Osna's right that there is new energies coming in, there's also a lot of the old ways that are fighting and kicking and screaming to the dustbin. They don't want to see the end of greed. They don't want to see the end of sloth. They don't want to see the end of me. They don't want to see the acceptance that it's now becoming a community effort. And this is the we generation. And I'm not talking about the video game. I'm talking about us, the us generation. And I'm not talking about the United States specifically. I'm talking about all of us have to work together for the purpose of surviving as a group. This is definitely where karma has to go into the dustbin, because we don't need that. Karma makes revenge, karma makes anger, karma does all kinds of bad stuff, and that is bad. We have to get rid of it. Now, let me want to say something. Michelle's right. I think that, I know when I first came in 2010 and cohabited, that I had problems with ego. And so, but Michelle has been a wonderful teacher for me in the form of explaining karma and what karma is definitely passé. I know for some people it's kind of hard to handle that, because it's too different. Yeah, it is different. Because like Michelle said, it's like you have to throw away all the old stuff that you were doing, because it's not going to work anymore. If you want to go to 5D Earth, you have to be willing to say, all right, I'm not going to worry about me anymore. that generation ended in the early 90s, from what I understand. And then actually in 2003, according to Dolores Cannon, she said the 5D energy started to be activated, and indigos and the octarines, or better known as crystals, like Michelle is. She's an octarine, and she's really got a good head on her shoulders if you think about what she's saying to everybody. Sometimes Michelle gets a little bit angry or frustrated because sometimes because of her Asperger's, she doesn't always successfully manage to negotiate or find the right word to express something. But that doesn't mean that Michelle doesn't love you as a people, because she really wants to reach out to everybody. That's why she does these videos. And I can assure you, these videos are definitely one of a kind. She really exposes her heart, and so do I. Maybe I don't talk as much because I normally like to stay in the background, kind of coaching her in other areas that she knows very little on. Well, I know very little on some of the stuff she talks about. And so we talk together through clear audience, but Michelle also is a psychic channeler. As you will know, that she channeled Mother Asna at the time of our coronation, which kind of made me kind of nervous. Because, what did make you nervous? Because I felt like I had to deal with a third entity, and I felt kind of like I was being squeezed between, because, you know, it's such a small spiritual space, and I didn't really like to have to deal with a third. But I knew she was only going to be there for that ceremony, so I didn't really make a big deal about it. The way you talked about it at the time, Lummy, was, yeah, sure, yeah. And I was like, I sensed that. It was like, you didn't want her there. No, I did not want her there, because it was really kind of awkward. But then on the other hand, there was nobody else to officiate. We tried to find somebody else to officiate, and it never happened that way. There just was no one there to officiate. So we got stuck. Was like, okay, we got everything set up. We have to have the proper people to pass the crown or the circlets. And Mother Asna was the only one that was certified and suitable. And since Michelle has never done channeling before, Michelle was a little nervous too. Yeah, that was a little different. But somehow Michelle had the impression that, okay, it's going to work out well, and it did. But I was a little nervous because, me and Michelle were both dealing with a whole new kettle of fish that night. We have not done a channeling like that since. But I'm sure that Michelle, now knowing more about how to do it, probably could do it as acting as a channeler. But what Michelle also said about the new energies is true. You've got to be willing to let go of the past, especially if you are one of the people who are still festering with karma. Karma has got to die, okay? It cannot continue. If you don't learn to get rid of the karma and give up the ways of 3D Earth, you are going to find yourself incapable of progressing to 5D Earth. Even though it's going to be overlaid right now, it's kind of like 2G GSM versus 3G GSM versus 4G GSM, which is known as LTE. They're all on the same network. They're all overlaid on top of each other. It's just kind of the same way, but we know that the 3D Earth is coming to pass. It's just a transitionary time, and those people who are unable to progress to the 5D Earth will be unable to remain on 3D Earth, because 3D Earth will eventually be terminated and 5D Earth will be the norm. So what's going to happen with you is you're going to be carrying on your reincarnation on another planet as another person, but the same lessons will have to be continuously learned. That's the way it goes anyway. Earth is kind of like a university. We come here to grow up and learn something. Yeah, we do, and people really do have a hard time understanding that. This is not just one of the hardest spiritual boot camp planets. This is the hardest planet because this is the only planet that has a free will, at least according to Dolores Cannon, where we can actually choose to grow and mature spiritually and possibly psychically and of course physically, or we can choose to be stuck in a rut and do nothing. In other words, we can either pass the exams, the final exam and the midterm exam each year, or in this case each lifetime, or we have to come back again and repeat the same courses and the same grades all over again until we pass the courses. Unlike in college, you don't have to worry about the academic board saying, I'm sorry, you're not good enough to continue to go to this college because you flunked Italian 101. But you will have to basically continue on the same lesson until you progress to the next level. It's just like anything. I know that because I was a college student, I went through this. I did flunk Italian. Not 101, I flunked the next level up. But that was not because I didn't want to learn. I wanted to learn, I really did. But because I couldn't find any practice partners at the University of Connecticut stores, well, that's what happened. So, plus Michelle was going through a lot of other things too at the time. Yeah, family problems, economic problems, and just really bad self-esteem. Coming up in a few weeks, me and Michelle will be doing another video. I think you would like this. What's this on? Us. Again? Yes. Because there'll be the second anniversary as a Beltane. Oh, yes, that's right. And what I would like to do is, I'd like to discuss how much we've changed during that time. But you realize, Loma, we didn't have any kind of videos or photos or anything prior to that. We do, but they're very small, and some people may have a hard time going through them because you have physically blossomed quite a bit in those 2 years. By the way, in my intro, go ahead. Okay, YouTube does allow some music, and I went through and I looked at the add audio track section, and there's some ways you can add some background music to the videos, and music by different artists is on there. Talking about easy listening music by Vivaldi and Verdi and Puccini. We can Mozart, and we can put some of that in there, which we'd like to consider for the videos. But we're not going to use. See, this is the one problem with their system that they have. You have to use their flash editor to add these tracks, and the problem is I use iMovie, so that doesn't work out for me very well because iMovie does not allow me to loop a track for background music. Let's say, for example, I wanted to use Vivaldi's seasons, and I wanted to play the season of spring, or maybe even the spring. I think right now would be appropriate. Yeah. And so the problem is it didn't allow looping. So what I'm going to do is we're going to try to add some music to this video, which means we have to add some work to it. Like, let's add this special considerations to section as well. Yeah, we are going to add that, because I think it really would be great for everybody to know. And I keep talking about my hair salon, but then I keep realizing I don't really have a good video on their card or on the titling. So what we got is I got the actual video or the actual business card, and we took a snapshot with the computer or with my camera, and then we're going to put it into the, possibly we'll put it at the beginning and the end of the video. Kind of like what you see, like on, like when you're watching some sports events, like special consideration given to here too, Winston, Connecticut. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. And also at the end too, and then Michelle always is coming up with some ideas. Right. So, we got a little bit longer than we did, but that's okay because we're editing on the computer anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, yes, by the way, we also do have some ability to add closed or open captioning, but I don't know how that really works yet. But if we could do open captioning, because I know that sometimes it's really hard for people to understand us because we talk so fast. But, we'll see if we can do something about that. We also do have the online captioning service run through Google. Yeah, but that doesn't work too well. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I was watching one of the videos with the captioning on, and even though the sound was right and the location was right and it was quiet, it was just me talking. And it was actually the coronation, I think. Yeah, it was the coronation. And some of the YouTube lines that are coming out of the Google voice recognition was really weird. Somebody they got to work on the heuristics on that a bit better, I think. Yeah, definitely. So anyway, for the rest of you people, please don't be afraid to leave us comments, okay? I mean, I really, again, me and Lomi, both of us, would love to hear from you. And we also, of course, welcome suggestions, comments, concerns. And don't you worry, just because you got something to say does not mean that I'm going to automatically throw it off the garbage. In fact, automatic posting of comments is enabled. So, talk to me, okay? And we will look at your message. If it's appropriate, we think it's something that we want to discuss, we will leave it up there and then we'll respond to that question. If we think it's, like you're out there trying to sell us, car insurance or aluminium siding or whatever, anything that's not appropriate, well, there's always that big garbage can, But that's what we'd rather not do that. We'd rather not do that. So let's just try to keep it to the point. And as far as agenda goes, and let's be the answers. I hope that my answer helps you to answer your answers that you were trying to answer. And I understand you were a little bit uncertain of what to say because of the censors here at YouTube. Don't you worry about it, because Mother Asna loves you, Father Yahweh loves you too, and so there's this principalities on her thrones, and we are all in this together. So just relax, people. Have a good time with your significant other. Be good to them. Keep your minds open to all that is coming. Then, first of all, if you have a karma issue, time to go ahead and get the mental tuckalocks and clean out the pipes. Yeah, definitely. Gotta clean out those pipes now, right? Gotta flush the old attitude in the garbage. It's almost like that song, they're gonna wash that karma out of my hair. Right. Wash the karma out of your hair, wash the karma out of your soul, and start fresh is what you gotta do. Okay? And, by the way, I bet you noticed that my hair is whiter now. My hairdresser has finally managed to get it right. It took him a while to find the right mix of toner and bleach, but he did it, and I'm very happy with that. So, a lot of good things going on, a lot of new ideas being discussed, a lot of energy this summer. Embrace that energy. That's the most important thing you gotta do, especially if you have a seasonal affective disorder. Get out there. At least try anyway. If you have albinism like me, you don't want to get out there too much in the broad day. If you have to, well, you got to. I already got my refill on my antidepressant, so we're all set with that. And this will be a very wonderful year. It might be a little warm. However, I believe that Mother Asna right now does the North American continent for the spring, autumn, and summer, because she hasn't appointed anybody yet. If you're interested in being considered a steward or stewardess for those 3 seasons, whichever country or continent you're in, you just gotta contact Mother Asna and Father Yahweh, in whichever way you're most comfortable, and put your name in for the petition, for the application for the job there. And if you are got the qualities she's looking for, and you will probably be selected out of. There'll probably be a lot of people. There's at least right now 27 positions. Oh, I think, was it 27? Well, there's you and Frida and Joey in Southern Hemisphere, Australia, New Zealand. I don't know. Let's just say about 20-something positions available right now, which means that you could possibly have a chance. I know there's about 7 billion of us out there, but not all 7 billion of us are going to be qualified. So please don't be afraid. If you feel you've got what it takes, contact Mother Osna. Any means, prayer is certainly one way. Working in a circle is another way. Transcendental meditation is another way. And she will reach you. She feels that you are qualified to go through the internship, which most people, the internship for this gets funny, because next year, 2012, they were all supposed to be installed. However, I believe that she has decided to delay a little bit to allow for some more applications to come in. So make sure to keep in contact with everybody, and I wish you well. Fare thee well, everybody, and again, I will see you on the flip side, so keep those comments coming in, okay? Bye-bye.